GOP elected rep lied about his whole damn life. GOP Representative-elect George Santos is being called to resign by the Democrat who lost to him in New York's 3rd congressional district race after the New York Times published a bombshell investigation suggesting that Santos fabricated key parts of his resume during the campaign. Robert Zimmerman, who lost to Santos by 8 points in last month's midterm elections, you see him pictured there, released a statement late Monday on Twitter. It read in part, quote, "The reality is Santos flat out lied to the voters of New York 3. He's violated the public trust in order to win office and does not deserve to represent Long Island and Queens." Per Yahoo News, the Times report published on Monday found that Santos may have misled voters about his college graduation, his criminal and employment history, his family-owned business, his animal rescue charity, and his relationship with 4 victims of the 2016 Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando, Florida. How disgusting is this person? Unreal to lie about having relationships with slain human beings in a gun tragedy. There's more. Per the New York Times, the Times report found that Santos, a Republican whose victory in Long Island and Northeast Queens last month helped his party clinch their very narrow majority in the US House of Representatives, may have misled voters about not just his college education and his purported career on Wall Street as well, and omitted details about his business from financial disclosure forms. Santos, 34 years old, has declined numerous requests to be interviewed. Of course he has. What's he gonna say? You're right, I lied? On Monday evening, he used Twitter to recirculate a short statement that his lawyer, Joseph Murray, released on Friday with one small addition. On Monday, Murray categorized the Times article as a shotgun blast of attacks, but of course did not provide any specific criticisms of what he called the Times' defamatory allegations. Here's a hot tip. If you're gonna claim allegations are defamatory, say which ones are defamatory and say what the truth is. Just saying these are outright lies and it's a shotgun blast of attacks. Which one, sir? I gotta go. I gotta go pee real quick. That's not a good defense. Over the course of his campaigns, Santos claimed to have graduated from Baruch College in 2010 before working at Citigroup and eventually Goldman Sachs. But officials at Baruch said they could find no record of his having graduated that year, and reps from Citigroup and Goldman Sachs could not locate records of his employment either. These are the kind of candidates, you can see this man's very stupid face right there, the candidates that the GOP puts up. They put up a bunch of disingenuous criminals. They put up people with no regard for the law, no regard for truth. They're literally cartoon supervillains coming in, making stuff up, getting into power, and as soon as they get elected, it was all a lie. It was all a lie. Nothing about me is real. Nothing about me is true. That's who they're putting up. And of course, they're not gonna do jack to expose this guy. Kevin McCarthy's gonna seat him. Why? He's gonna seat him because Kevin McCarthy's trying to win the Speaker of the House position and needs the votes. He's probably gonna make a Faustian bargain and say, you vote for me for Speaker, you're all good. I don't care if you're not who you say you are, just give me power, yes. Give me power, more. They don't care. One party in this corporate system is full of complete liars and criminals, and the other side isn't a whole lot better, but they're slightly better, and we have to take it because that's all we got. A.B., please say something before I have an aneurysm. My God.
Well, I guess what we can say is that Trump set the pace for this. And so now we see where this is going. And this is why we should have corrected this action a long time ago, right? Because Trump told us he graduated from a school, he ain't graduated from that school. Okay, Trump told us that he was making this amount of money from his businesses. Come to find out that was a lie, right? All of it was a lie. And so now they're just following in his footsteps. And we've made it okay because we didn't correct the issue at the source. Now, at this point, little buddy, the thing about it is like when you're running for politics, the people want to vote for people who they believe is in alignment with them. And so when you misrepresent who you are as a person and your beliefs and things like that, and people vote for you, you really make people distrust the government. So while everyone wants to blame the other side for not being able to trust the government and draining the swamp, y'all need to realize that what's happening is they're picking people who they know got issues in the background that they can just dangle in front of your faces, dangle those issues in front of their faces so that they can control them, right? These people are not gonna have any real control and power when it comes to making laws and stuff like that. You are going to be obligated to vote in agreement with the GOP party because we know what you got going on in the background for real. And it don't take nothing but a little bit for one of them GOP members to leak all your little dirty business. So while you're mad and talking about the attacks, it sounds like a warning. Get out of line and we're gonna let them know what's really going on in the background. So I think it's just raggedy. If you had to lie about where you went to school and where you worked, then you don't need to be in politics because you don't even know who you are. So how you gonna help the American people?
I guess the only flip side to that, AB, is maybe if you're full of lies and you fabricated your whole background, you're perfect for politics.
No.
You know?
No, absolutely not. No.
Not for politics as it should be, but as politics as it is now.
Perfect for McConnell.
Yep, fits in like a glove. McConnell's sitting there going like, yeah, she's a future me and I really love her. It's a disgusting, strange place we're in. It's so weird. And I also put some blame on the DNC and on his opponent's campaign. His opponent said that they were trying to expose some of this during the campaign and didn't get much traction, blasted from the rooftops. If you can't win an election where your opponent's making up things and you knew a lot of it ahead of time, they didn't know all of it because the New York Times budgets far surpass what the opposition campaign was in their budget for Oppo research, but they uncovered a lot of it, blasted out. Not that it makes a huge difference. We all saw that Herschel Walker came very close, but it's not quite the exact same. And his opponent, Santos' opponent, was blasted by he lost by a huge margin. I think at least 8 points. So we need to step up the game if you're trying to get good people in office when you got complete liars. You can't be complete liars. You got a real problem with your political infrastructure.